On this episode of Fly Fishing Unfiltered, we teach you how to catch more fish with proper drag-free drifts utilizing upriver and downriver mending techniques. Hey everyone, David, Northwest Fly Fishing Outfitters, coming to you with another Fly Fishing Unfiltered, and this time on scene on the beautiful Clackamas River. And Spencer, I was out guiding this past weekend and encountered some challenges with one of my clients this past weekend. And really, we were on the Deschutes River, fishing dry flies, and he was having a heck of a time with mending his line.
Yeah, I can understand that.
In fact, as a guide, I'm sure you've been like I was, where you're like, mend, mend, mend.
Yeah, I've yelled that word a few times, yeah.
Yeah, so I would like to take a moment on our YouTube channel and explain to people, first of all, what is mending? What are we trying to accomplish when we mend a line?
Absolutely. So, I mean, the first thing I think about with the word mend is it means to fix.
Okay.
So when I'm mending the line, I'm fixing something that the current's doing to the line that I don't want it to do.
Okay.
So that's the first step for me.
Okay.
But essentially what we're doing is we're trying to negate the current, right? We're trying to get a good dead drift, whether it's the dry fly or an indicator presentation.
Okay.
We're trying to get a good dead drift by mending the line.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's a great way of thinking about it, fixing our line, fixing the fly. And so really, we've got a couple forms of mending the line, correct?
Absolutely.
And what are those couple forms of mending?
Well, we usually do the upriver mend or
Okay.
a downriver mend. Those
Okay.
are the two most popular. So that's probably what we're going to cover the most today.
Yeah.
And that applies to both indicator and dry fly presentations.
Absolutely. So what our plan is today is actually to go out on the river. Spencer, guide here at Northwest Fly Fishing Outfitters, he is going to show us firsthand what an upriver mend looks like, what it doesn't look like, right? We're going to show maybe a bad drift through a run. So you can see the difference between a good mend and then not mending our line, and ultimately what that's doing to the fly. What is critical with mending, though, is that we're presenting that fly, that dry fly specifically, in its natural position, correct?
Yeah, drag-free, some would say,
Drag-free.
you know, and that's something we're going to talk about more when we have a visual to it. But yeah, essentially those mends are to get the most natural presentation by a dead drift with the most common presentation a bug and a dry fly would do.
So there's very rare times where we skitter a fly across the top of the water, right?
It's rare. There is that one oddball chance, you know, the time to get weird, like Zach always likes to talk about.
Weird.
There are those weird times, terrestrials mainly, but more often we're fishing mayflies, caddis, spinner falls, you know, indicators with nymphs deep. So we're not really always looking for that crazy erratic jitter. You know?
Really, we actually just covered in our newsletter a specific hatch where there is a jitter to the fly, and that's the nocturnal stone, which is kind of a different stone. It doesn't fly, so it has to scoot across the surface of the water. That is okay to have a bit of action in the fly, but typically, would you agree, when we are dry fly fishing, we really want that fly to be sitting on top of the water with no drag, no wake behind it.
100%, yeah.
Excellent. So what we're going to do is we're going to head on down to the river, and we're going to get multiple different views of you. I want you to kind of coach us through what your mending looks like, how to correctly do it. For those of you who are watching, we're going to get some top views as well, so that you can see from the top, which is a view that oftentimes is avoided, and we're gonna break that down both from the top view and a side view as Spencer coaches us through how to properly mend a line. And the last thing I want to say is, by mending a line, would you agree that we have a better chance at catching more fish?
Oh yeah. I would 100% agree. I mean, it's very rarely that you catch a lot of trout swinging a fly, you know, and the idea with these indicators and these dry flies, dry dropper even, is to get that natural presentation, that dead drift by mending the line. So I'd love to go down there with you. I think we got some water down behind us that'll give us a great example. Let's get that drone up there, give these guys a bird's eye view, and let's show them what not to do and what to do.
All right, well, let's get to it. We'll have you guys join us down on the river.
Hey guys, so now that we made it down to the river, we're going to show you kind of what we're talking about when we refer to all these different currents, seams, depth, speed of water. These are the kind of things that we're looking at and why our mending is going to help us. So what we have here is a great example of when we're going to utilize the upriver mend. The river at my feet is a lot faster than the pocket out there that I'm trying to fish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step into my casting spot. I'm going to show you how I would fish this using the mends in my casting presentation in this specific spot. So here we go. So now that I'm in the zone here, I want to get my indicator and my nymph right into that little pocket wobble. What makes this spot a little tricky is I have the water in front of me that's going to pull my fly line. And this is where the mend is going to be very, very beneficial. So now that I got my fly line out, what I'm going to do is use a nice roll cast to punch my fly into the spot. Then lifting and placing the fly line with my rod behind the indicator, it allows my nymph to settle below and drop into the zone, which allows me to fish that spot a lot more effectively. So one more time, I'm going to show you here a little bit more quickly the cast, the lift and mend, and then the drips. So cast, lift and mend, fly line lands behind the indicator, and now I'm following with the natural speed of the current to allow that nymph to drift with the speed of the current. So that is how we use the upriver mend in a fast water situation to get our fly down to the zone we were trying to fish. Now let's step down and show you the slow stuff. All right, so now we're here on the river to show you the downriver mend. What we have in front of us is a lot slower moving water than the far seam, which we're trying to fish, which is a faster moving seam. So to combat the slow water in front of us here, we need to put a downriver mend. Very counterintuitive at times, but let's show you how this is going to work. So right below my rod tip is the slow water I'm trying to combat with my downriver mend. The far stuff with the foam is the home. That's what I'm trying to fish and keep my nymph into. So I'm going to throw my indicator and nymph into the fast water. And then what I'm actually going to do here is kind of give a little bit of a downriver mend to allow that slack in my line to not impede the drift of the faster water. And I'm going to show you one more time. Again, this is very counterintuitive, but what we're going to do is we're going to throw the bobber into the fast water, and we're going to try to leave that little down horseshoe shape, a downriver U shape, to allow that indicator to keep the natural speed of the current. Very opposite of what you do in the fast water situation. Okay guys, so we kind of covered the upriver mend, our most common mend. We covered the counterintuitive downriver mend, very situational, but you're gonna need it. Now there's one thing that I really want to touch base on, and to David's point earlier is something we see a lot on the river is when people are mending the line, they're very aggressive with the mend. And I know it's not intentional, but what I'd like to see more from you guys on the river is using the rod to lift the line and place the line where you want it to be. And what I mean by that is when the fly's out there and that line's on the water, I'm going to use the whole rod to lift the line off, breaking the tension, placing with my arm, almost like the rod's an extension of my arm. I'm going to lift, place, and set the line where I want it to be. So one more time in full action here. Lift, place, set. And you see here what it does is it pulls everything off the water under a slight bit of tension, which straightens your leader, allowing you to get contact to your indicator, which makes a very, very effective mend, because not only are we pulling tight to the indicator, reducing all the slack to come tight to the fish, but we're actually moving that indicator up to allow that nymph to settle below, which then tracks a lot more accurately where your nymph is in the water column. So remember to lift, place, then set.
Well, thanks a lot, Spencer. That was absolutely fantastic. Really appreciate you showing us everything on mending lines. And I know that that's really going to help our listeners and our subscribers catch more fish. And
I sure hope so.
After all, that's what we're out here for, right? Is to catch more fish.
100%. And mending is a huge part of it.
Yeah, for sure. And while we're talking about catching fish, I love to feature our guides. And so Spencer here, he guides coho, he guides trout, he guides steelhead here on this beautiful Clackamas River and tons of other waterways, sea run cutthroat trout too. So if you're looking to, whether it's improve your mending skills, whether it's catch your first steelhead on a nymph rig, catch your first steelhead on a swung fly, maybe catch some sea run cutthroat trout, hit my guy up here, Spencer. We'll make sure that his contact info is in the details below.
Cool.
But we really appreciate you, Spencer, coming. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about in regards to mending line?
You know, I think just to touch point on the big things for me are don't be over aggressive with it.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have some examples of that. really just kind of focus on lifting, placing that line, and pay attention to your current. The current's going to tell you what to do, and the word mend means to fix. So if your line is doing something you don't want it to, mend it the way you want to fix what it doesn't or what it's not doing, right?
Right. So when you're reading that water and you see that dry fly or that indicator have a wake behind it, hopefully after this video, what you're going to hear is mend!
Freaking mend
in your head, because that's what this is all about. You're going to catch more fish. If you're mending your line and you're getting that drag-free drift, whether it's a nymph, whether it's a dry fly, you will catch more fish. And that's what we're all out here to do. So we really appreciate you tuning in to another Fly Fishing Unfiltered here from Northwest Fly Fishing Outfitters. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We've got a ton of content. I'm going to get out here with my man Spencer. We're going to cover some coho. We're going to do some more sea run videos. We're still going to get a carp video. We're going to continue to do product reviews, real, truthful, unfiltered product reviews, not the kind that are meant to sell gear, but the kind that are meant to have you be an educated consumer.
Yeah, first one is don't wear waders in 94-degree days.
That would be a good place
waders
to start.
Are great when it's colder.
That'd be a great place to start. But we really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure that you tune in for our next video. Appreciate you.